It all started with a letter from the Homeowners Association. It said I was violating community bylaws by flying the American flag from my porch. The letter was polite, but the message was clear: take it down or pay a $50 fine, with more fines for every day it stayed up. I read it again and again, stunned. A fine for flying the flag, in America. My wife Sarah was just as shocked. We'd always followed the rules, kept our lawn neat, and helped our neighbors. The flag wasn't just a decoration, it was a symbol of respect for our country and those who served. Taking it down felt wrong. That night we sat on the porch, the flag waving above us, and I knew I couldn't back down. The deadline passed, the flag stayed. The HOA fined me, just as they promised. I'm not a troublemaker, but this was a line I couldn't cross. Letting a committee decide if I could honor my country at home felt like surrender. The fight had begun, and I had no idea how far it would go. The next day, another letter arrived, another fine. I realized this wasn't just about a flag. It was about standing up for what's right. And I was ready for the battle ahead. Oak Creek Meadows was the picture of suburban peace: manicured lawns, friendly waves, and summer barbecues. We had young families, retirees, and veterans like Bill and Mr. Henderson. The HOA was supposed to keep things tidy, but their rules sometimes felt suffocating. Most of us went along to avoid trouble. But the flag issue was different. It wasn't about aesthetics, it was about values. The HOA's demand forced everyone to pick a side. Suddenly, our quiet neighborhood was divided. Some neighbors avoided me, afraid of the board. Others whispered support. The flag on my porch had become a symbol, and a test for our community. The battle lines were drawn. The flag wasn't just any flag, it was my father's. He was a Marine who flew it every day, a quiet act of patriotism. When he passed, I inherited his flag, faded but proud. Hanging it was my way of honoring him and teaching my kids about service and sacrifice. The HOA saw a bylaw violation, I saw a legacy. I wrote the board, sharing my father's story, hoping for understanding. Their response was cold. Rules are rules, no exceptions. The fines kept coming. It was clear. This wasn't about the flag, but about control. The board cared more about power than people. That only made me more determined. The fines piled up. $50 a day, then hundreds, then over 1,000. Every letter from the HOA was more threatening than the last. The financial strain was real, and Sarah and I worried late into the night. The board wanted to break us with pressure and isolation. Neighbors who once waved now looked away. I felt like an outcast in my own community. Board members watched my house, making me feel under a microscope. But every new fine only strengthened my resolve. They weren't just targeting me, they were attacking a core American value. I refused to back down. The pressure only made me more certain I was doing the right thing. As the conflict grew, the neighborhood split. Some neighbors avoided me, afraid of the HOA's power. But then, quiet support emerged. Bill left a note. "Don't you dare take it down. I've got your back." Soon, more flags appeared on porches up and down the street. The HOA responded with more violation notices, but their heavy hand backfired. Instead of scaring people, they united us. Neighbors shared stories of petty fines and overreach. My fight became everyone's fight. The board tried intimidation, but we stood firm. I was no longer alone. We were fighting for respect, freedom, and the right to honor what mattered. The line was drawn and my neighbors stood with me. The HOA's power was being challenged. Our community was finding its voice. With fines mounting and the threat of a lien, I hired a lawyer named David. He discovered a federal law, the Freedom to Display the American Flag Act. The HOA's bylaw was illegal. David demanded the fines be dropped, but the board refused, arguing about the flagpole. We took them to court. The story hit the news, and support poured in. The courtroom was packed, neighbors, cameras, and the grim HOA board. The judge listened, unimpressed by the HOA's arguments. He called their case frivolous and lectured them on homeowners' rights. The tide had turned. The board's authority was crumbling. Our fight was now a public stand for everyone's rights. The end was in sight. The judge ruled in our favor completely. The HOA's bylaw was struck down, all fines erased. The board was ordered to rewrite the rules to comply with the law. My neighbors cheered, we had won. That night more flags went up, not in protest, but in celebration. The board members who led the charge resigned in disgrace. A new, reasonable board was elected. Our community was stronger, more united, and more engaged. We learned that standing up matters. This was never just about a flag, it was about principle. One person with support can make a difference. Sometimes you just have to stand your ground.